momentum that's happening across the country. You sense what's happening out there. I wish I could take people with me on this cross-country trip that I've been making, crisscrossing the United States and letting people feel what I feel when I get out there. There is so much passion and energy right now that it's infectious, and it makes you excited, and it makes you get to the point where you say, I can't wait until the 3 weeks are up and Mitt is the next president of the United States. So it's great to be in Pennsylvania, and wonderful for myself and my husband and my children to know that this is an important state for us, and that we care about Pennsylvania, and we care about Pennsylvanians, and we care about those that are looking for work, that are hungry for a new direction in this country. And we are going to have the greatest celebration January 20th. Thank you, Governor, for mentioning that. This is a Woman for Mitt rally, just so you know. And the reason I like that is because I have spent a lot of time in the last year and a half talking to women. And I was, by the way, Mitt ran 4 years ago, and at the end of that campaign, I made a videotape. And on the videotape, I said, sweetie, I'm never doing that again. Now, he laughed, and he looked at it, and he said, you say that after every pregnancy. I do have 5 boys. But what made a difference for me to be so excited about getting involved another time? Because when I asked my husband, when we had the family council, the first family council was very interesting. All 5 sons, all 5 daughters-in-law, when we asked, do you think Mitt should step forward and run for president, they all thought, what an amazing adventure. Oh, yes, go ahead and do that. That sounds wonderful. Well, ask them the same question 4 years later, and you got a very different answer. All the daughter-in-laws were like, please, no. And 4 of the 5 sons were, please, Dad. We know you'd make a great president, but it's just too hard. It's too hard on the families, whatever. A lot of good reasons. But I asked my husband this question, and I said, I know exactly what the campaign is like. I know exactly what politics is like. I know you're going to get attacked. I know you'll be vilified. I know it's going to be hard. All of those things I know. But you have to answer me this one question. Is it too late if you do all of that, and when is it too late to save the country? His answer was, well, it's growing late, but it's not too late yet. So guess what, folks? We have to get it right now. And that's what I said. You have no choice. And let me tell you why this women word is so important to me right now, that is up there, because I have been across this country for such a long time now, and guess what is in my head? All the voices of women that are saying to me, please help. Do you realize more women have been hit harder than men in this last 4 years of economic trial, that they have been employed at a greater rate than men? Do you also realize that more women have slipped into poverty in the last 4 years? So I say, my message is for women. Do you want your economic future? If you do, vote for Mitt. That's it. I'll tell you something else that's touched my heart in such a deep way as I've traveled and as I meet so many people, and that is how good the American people are. You know what else? They're faithful. How many people come up to me and say they're praying for Mitt and I? I love that. I just love that. This country is such a good country. It has such amazing people in it. And I look back on history and I'm amazed. I'll tell you a little story about my family. You hear about it all the time. My father came to this country in 1929. His father was a Welsh coal miner who started working in the coal mines at age 6 in Wales. His father would throw him in the back of his shoulders and take him into the coal mines at age 6. This summer I was back in Great Britain, and I went back to Wales, and I visited my family, and I went back and visited the coal mines in the area where my grandfather worked. And as I was taking a tour, I asked one of the coal miners there, I said, I don't know why this has never occurred to me, but my grandfather started work at 6. I said, did he ever go to school? And they said, well, in the 1880s, 90s, probably not. They were supposed to be, but he probably not. And I said, well, I have to ask the next question. Did he know how to read? And they said, no, probably not. Most of the miners were illiterate during that time. I thought to myself, my grandfather came to this country in 1929, not a good time, with nothing in his pocket except hope and a dream. And look where his granddaughter is standing today, possibly the next First Lady of the United States. This is an amazing country, the greatest country in the history of the world, this country. This country has been a promise to millions. It was a promise to my grandfather. It needs to be a promise to our children. We are so worried about our children. What are they going to inherit from us? What did the greatest generation give us? They gave us this country, free and prosperous. What are we leaving them? That's why Mitt's running. We have to get this right, because our children and our grandchildren cannot inherit this huge amount of and this legacy of debt. They have to have the same opportunities and freedoms that were given to us by the ancestors that sacrificed so much for us to be here in the most amazing country ever on the face of the earth. I loved the way the last debate. Have you got a chance to watch that? I loved the fact that I think 70 million Americans got a chance to see my husband unfiltered. No negative ads, no media interpretation. It's just Mitt. And guess what? They heard with their ears and they saw with their eyes. What did they see? A man ready and prepared to lead this country. I also love the convention, and I'm just going to tell you one quick story about that convention, and that was I appreciated very much that people stood up and said, excuse me, this is not the person being talked about by the opposition. This is not the man I know. Let me tell you about the man I know. And Pat and Ted O'Brien stood up. Pat was a firefighter from Medford, Massachusetts. He was in the mid, I think. I remember because, well, let me just see. When was born? I have to go this way. 70 was when I was born. 71. Let me see. John, 78. Ben was born in 1978. That's how I have to figure it out. So Ben was in 1980. That we had opportunity. We knew the family, and a son, 14 years old, was diagnosed with leukemia. And Mitt took it upon himself, even though he was raising at that point only 4 boys, very big professional career. We had the opportunity to befriend this family when they were going through this enormous trial. Mitt got closer and closer to David as he would visit him in the hospital. David was in and out of the hospital, by the way, for 7 months, and mostly his life in the hospital, but getting in and out. And on occasions when Mitt was visiting, he said, David, what do you love so much? What is it that you want to do when you get out of the hospital next? And he goes, I love fireworks. Mitt's next visit, he brought David a huge box of fireworks and made sure that when he got out of the hospital, he was able to go safely off, along with the supervision of his firefighter father. And so another bit, Mitt asked David, you know, David, what are you feeling, and what is going on in your mind right now? And it's like, can you tell me where I'm going next? And of course, David knew that his short life was coming to a close. And Mitt was able to share his profound belief and faith in life after death, and told David not to worry, not to fear, that God loved him. He was going to be fine. His family would miss him. He would miss being here with his family, but he was a wonderful, beautiful boy and was going to be just fine. Another visit, David asked Mitt, could you please help him write help? He knew that Mitt had a law degree. Next time it went, he took his legal pad and said, David, let's sit down and figure out what it is and who it is that you want to give possession to. Now, you know a 14-year-old boy doesn't have any wonderful possession, but his were important to him. He wanted to make sure his son got his skateboard. He wanted to make sure that his brother got his rifle. It got that all carefully written down in his yellow legal pad. And then it made one final request of it. After they developed this enormous friendship, asked that Mitt perform his eulogy at the funeral, which Mitt did. So when you want to find trouble, where do you want to find Mitt? You want to find him with his sleeves rolled up, the side of a bedside. That's where you'll find him. That's where I know his heart is. This is a man that cares. This is a man that is a good man, that has spent his entire life being charitable, generous, and caring. And I'm so grateful that there were some people that took the courage to know that it was going to be hard to stand up and say, I know this world is a scary place and the press makes me afraid, but I'm going to come, I'm going to tell you some stories about the man that I know, because he's being treated so unfairly. So I'm grateful for that. I'm also grateful for the fact that we have had the opportunity, the blessing in our lives of seeing this country in a way that very few people have the opportunity to do. My sons are on the trail. I have 5 sons. But that little 2-year-old boy, Ben, that I was talking about, that's the other best part of the story, is that guess what? My husband took his boys with him a lot of these visits. And what did that teach them? He did not teach them by saying, this is what you do. Taught them by saying and letting them observe, this is how you live. And I think that's the best way to teach children, is by example. That little boy that was just learning how to talk, he's now Doc Self. And that actually is the one limiting thing. I think he's very grateful he can't get campaign trail as much as his brothers, because he really doesn't like it anyway. Ben is a doctor, and his other 4 brothers are out right now, all across this country, helping their dad. I can't even tell you where they are. Probably Ohio, probably Florida, probably Wisconsin, I'm guessing. We'll look it up later. I'll find out. I can't keep track of them. But I do know one thing. They're all going to end up in New York tonight. Tomorrow, they're going to be in a debate. All 5 will be with me. I've heard there's only room for 2 to sit in the audience with me. There'll be 2. I don't know which one will draw straws. I don't know. But then you will see all 5 of my sons. Look for us on the stage tomorrow night when all 5 of their sons will be up giving their dad a great big hug. Because you know what? I know no debate ever the same. It's going to be fun to watch. Maybe one for you than for me. One thing I know for sure, Mitt's prepared. Mitt's confident. Mitt's got a good, and Mitt's running because he believes in America. So I know your good governor gave you advice on what to do, how to contact 5 minutes for 20, you have 21 days? 22. Who's counting? But that's a great idea. It's a great idea. Find an independent that voted for Barack Obama last time. Find a Democrat that voted for Barack Obama last time. How have the last 4 years been? You want more of the same? Go ahead. You want something different? if you want a better, more prosperous future, vote for Mitt Romney. So, once again, all coming. We prayed at midnight. I can't wait to get on the phone. Wonderful you've all been here. And he's home preparing, studying hard. And let's all give him a big cheer for Mitt. Thank you.
But tell him if I don't serve.